Hi, my name is Michael Klooster. I play keyboards for the band Smash Mouth, record music, and I write music, and I just all around try to rock and roll as much as possible. I played music all my life. Well, starting in 4th grade, and my parents asked me to play. They wanted me to play an instrument, and they said pick an instrument, and I wanted to play drums, and I beat on everything when I was a kid, so they said no, and so I picked trumpet, and I wasn't really that interested in it. And then my senior year in high school, well, where I went to high school, they had a good jazz band, so I got a little more interested, but not that much. In high school, a friend of mine, Jeff Texon, asked me to join a band as a trumpet player, kind of like a funk band. And again, we'll go back to, I always wanted to play drums. He had a keyboard. Then they all taught me to play keyboards, and I found all of a sudden I was actually quite capable of playing keyboards. Like, I was okay at trumpet, but I really could play. And it was like a realization that I had no idea in my life that this was a possibility. So it really overnight changed my life, and I became a keyboard player. And I pretty much went from just being a hobbyist musician to being completely, like, my life totally encompassing playing, practicing, writing, and it was great. You know, in life, like, I think the biggest challenge is to find what you love, and then the next big challenge is to figure out what to do with it. So I was lucky enough that I sort of ran into what I love, and it just found me, I guess, you know, and then the rest of it was just a matter of committing to the work. You know, I find a lot of people along the way really helped in my development at different times. I mentioned my friend Jeff Texon a minute ago. He gave me like a foundation of what music was and how it worked. So I met a teacher through Jeff named Judy Owens, who worked at Edison High School, and she was just an insanely great, you know, classical pianist, jazz pianist. And it was funny because I remember like having kind of an idea of what I was doing, and sort of in the world that I envisioned it, I was like really doing pretty well, and you know, and I felt like, you know, I kind of was grasping everything and working on everything, but it was all in my reach. And she pretty much just tore that to nothing, you know. It was like basically showed me all what I was doing wrong, and kind of like opened my eyes to the fact that there was so much more to music than what I had envisioned at the time. And she was a little bit rough, but as well very encouraging, and she taught me, just gave me a real big foundation on playing and knowing what to do. I really got into practicing, and I noticed that I practiced more than other people. I was more willing to say yes to projects, where a lot of people will sort of lock themselves into what they want to do or what they envision they'd like to do, which may be a fine approach, but for me, I was always open to doing other things. You know, I played in a Tejano band, I played in a blues band, a swing band. I noticed that I just seemed to be, I'm not even necessarily that good at what I do. Like, I just seem to really like doing it, and I tend to do it a little more than most people do. Another mentor, Max Simoncic, taught me at Delta College music. I asked him one day about the process of creativity, and he told me a genius is someone who finishes his work. At the end of the day, you have to make something, and you have to complete something, and you'd be surprised by actually completing things how far you'll get. You might think, you know, you might not have all the confidence in the world in what you're doing, and you might not think it's that great, but if you finish everything you do, you'll build a body of work, and you'll see results more than you'd ever imagine or dream of. I'm always practicing, I'm always learning. I go to school, I study, and I try to still live by the same rule of like having as many experiences as I can. I still say yes to stuff, I still try stuff. I do other forms of music. I have a list of goals I'm constantly working on and trying to accomplish. And I personally find, I mean, as a piano player as well, like, you're kind of required to sort of understand all these styles, you know, and it's great. I mean, I don't like one style of music. I like every kind of music. So I'm always trying to explore and kind of be like better at everything, you know, just whittling away at everything. I'm trying to, You know, someday I'll be a great concert pianist or something, maybe, you know. Piece at a time, you just have to keep going and love what you do. I wouldn't have been where I am without all my teachers and all my experiences that I had to endure through school. Even things that you don't want to do that later you look back and you're like, you know, man, I'm so glad I read that book, or so glad that I experienced that particular music thing that I would have never done, or, you know, faced that challenge. To be an interesting person, you have to explore the world, and so to do that you have to educate yourself. So go out for sports, even if you're not that good. I used to not be that good at sports, and I actually cherish the time, even though I know I wasn't that good. Like, I cherished that I did it, and I kind of wished I would have done more, because it's not that big of a deal. You know, you have to do stuff. It doesn't matter. You don't have to be good at everything. You just have to do it, and you have to, because it all builds character in your life. So getting to do, like, live your dream is definitely very cool. It is a little bit scary, and there is a burden to sort of keep it alive, you know, but I also think that that's the thing that makes it, like, fun still. I mean, if things are easy, then what's the accomplishment in winning, you know? You have to have a struggle to feel rewarded at the end. So yeah, it's tough. I mean, you have to, especially when you have a family. I mean, all of a sudden, you know, it's more of a reality. I have to keep it alive for them. But man, it's fun.
Hey now, you're an all-star. Get your game on, go play. Hey now, you're a rock star. Get the show on.